In the last video, what we did was to update this HTTP GET for forecast information. Like I explained in the last video, because we are using the free plan from openweathermap.org, we don't have access to the daily forecast. We only have access to the 5-day, 3-hour forecast. And we only changed this API right here by removing the daily property and then changed the count to 5. We are still using the geographic coordinates, passing in the longitude and the latitude. And we console.log the result because we are using the current weather method. This current weather, we are using it inside our app.component.ts file. Then one thing we also did here to refresh, after getting the results, we then use the nav.setRoute property so that we can take the user to the home page, and then we are passing this object along with the set route. Then we used if we go into our home.ts, this is where we are getting the data that we displayed right here on the home page. Now you can see we use navparams.get, then pass in the key. You can see right here the key here is weather info, and that is what we're getting here. After getting the data, we then push the data into the slides array. We have this slides array right here, and also we saved some data in the local storage. You can see right here we save data in the local storage. Here we are using the for each method on the storage, ionic storage, to get all the weather information stored there. Then we push the data into the slides array. So inside the slides array, that is where we have the current weather information and the forecast weather information. If I go back now to my home.html, we are getting the values from the slides array. You can see right here, using this ng4 directive, I have this slides array. So what I'm going to do, let me remove this comment here. Now I'll go back to my home.ts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to console.log this.slides. So I want to console.log the slides array because this is from the array we are going to display the information we want on this home.html. So I'm going to save this right now, go to the browser and then open the console. Let me try to reload this to see if we are going to get any information. Now we don't have anything displayed because I don't have any data stored in the console. So what I'm going to do is I'll copy this part here, then go into my Eon view did load. Remember, we are getting the weather information or the weather info for this particular user right here, you can see. So I'm going to paste the console.log. So when the page loads, inside this Eon view did load method, we are going to display this. I'll save this, then let's go back, clear this part. Right here, you can see I have some informations here displayed. So what we want inside this array, we have two information. You can see right here, we have the current weather information and the forecast. Let's go back to our weather provider. Remember I said this fork join returns a single observable after passing in the two API calls into the method. So inside the forecast, we don't have problem with current weather information. The problem we have is with forecast. So inside forecast, then go to the list array. You can open one of the objects. Now we need to get the information so that we can display them properly right here. So we are going to make use of this dt_tst where we have the dates and the time. Then we can also get the information from this weather array, then also this main array as well. Now let's go back to our home.html. I'll uncomment this part. I'll uncomment this. Now if I save this, go back, I will likely get an error. Right here, you can see I have an error because we don't have some informations we have here. We don't have them inside this slides array. So let's go back here. It says cannot read property day of undefined. So we're getting an error here because of this. Here we're just displaying the temperature. So I'll comment this part. Then I'm going to change this from 10 days forecast to just 3 hours forecast, or whatever text you want to place right here. So I'll leave mine as 3 hours forecast. So what I'm going to do now is I'll save this right here, then go back to the browser. Let me clear this part, reload so that we see the information we have. So we have this array. Now you can see I have 3 hours forecast. I have the Eon card being displayed, but it's not displayed properly the way we want. I want to make changes right here on this text and also on this date. Then also we are going to display the temperature. To display the temperature, if I open the forecast property, then go into list, I can open one of the objects. Now to get the temperature that will be displayed right here, you can see we have this main object. Inside the main object, we have the ground level property, the humidity, the pressure, the sea level, the temperature, which is the overall temperature. Then we have the temperature in Kelvin, the minimum temperature and the maximum temperature. But what we need is just this overall temperature. So we are going to get it from this main object. So come right here, uncomment this part, uncomment that. Now this is going to be, here is going to be forecast.main.temp right here. This forecast is what we have right as a property from this array. And then we want to get the main temperature. You can see right here inside this main object, I have the overall main or overall temperature right here. If you want to display the maximum temperature, you can. If you want to display the minimum temperature, you can as well. Also, you can decide to create another field for displaying the pressure or the humidity, but I only want the temperature. So right now I'm going to save this. Let me first clear this part. I'll save this here, then go to the browser. Now I have the temperatures being displayed right here, but like I said, we need to make some changes to this day of the week and the date. If I open the array, forecast, list, then open one of these. We want, instead of using this DT, the reason why we have it this way is because we are using this timestamp right here, but I don't want to use this timestamp. Instead, I want to use this property, which is DT_test. We can get the day and also we can get the date from this property DT_test. So to do that, let's go back, open your home.ts. Inside the home.ts, if you scroll down, we created two methods. One is to get the day of the week and also to get the dates. Now the only change we're going to make right here first is, because we are using the timestamp here, which is DT. You can see I have DT right here. We are using this inside our method, which is the new dates. I multiplied the time by 1000. So I'm going to remove that multiplication from here, from the day and also from the date. Remove the multiplication. Before I save this, this is self-explanatory. What I just did here was to check the time, convert it to ISO string, then check if it's equal to any of these properties we have right here. If it is, we are going to return the day. Then here also we are returning a date format. Then let's go into our home.html. Right here, instead of displaying forecast.dt, we want to display forecast.dt_tst. So I'll change this to dt_tst. Then this one as well, dt_tst. Let me go to the browser, clear these parts, then save. Now I'll go to the browser. Right now you can see the 3-hour forecast. The first here is the current day. So the way this 3-hour forecast works is, for that particular day or the current day, is going to return all the weather forecast information after every 3 hours. Then when that is complete, it's going to move to the next day. But remember, we are returning for the count we added was for just 5 days right here. You can see we changed the count number to 5. So it's going to return for 5 days. But instead of 5 days daily forecast, it's going to return 5 weather count information. Now, it's going to start with the current day, then return the information for that current day after every 3 hours. Then when that is complete, it's going to move to the next day. That is why you can see here I have Tuesday, 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 then the next one is Wednesday. This is the weather information for the next 3 hours. After that, it's going to return for the next 3 hours, then the next 3 hours, then the next 3 hours. Then when this is complete, it's going to move to the next day. If I increase this to maybe 7 or 10, let's try to increase this to something like 8 days. So increase this to 8 days, save, and let's see what is going to return. I'll clear this part now, right here. Let me reload this again. Okay, this is not returning. Okay, now it's displaying the information the way we want. Now you can see it's returned. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you can see Tuesday, 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 Tuesday. Then after that, move to Wednesday. If I increase this to 10, or if I increase this to maybe 16, it's going to return for each day that is going to return the information. It's going to return for every 3 hours. So now with this, we can display weather forecast, but it's going to be for every 3 hours because we don't have access to the daily forecast. When we were displaying the information for daily forecast, it was just retaining or returning the information for the total number of days that we specified. But right now, it's different. We only have access to the 5-day, 3-hour forecast right here. You can see daily forecast. We can't get any daily forecast information, but we can get hourly forecast, which is for maybe 5 days or 7 days, whatever you specify, but it's going to be for every 3 hours.